And now, ladies and gentlemen, from the heart of the Inland Empire, right here in sunny Southern California, it's Robert Cardoza Live, where we talk about politics, money, and you. This is the intersection of business and politics, and now here's your host, Robert Cardoza.
And welcome aboard. I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to the intersection of business and politics right here on Robert Cardoza Live, where I do an honest, unbiased analysis of the issues confronting you today that affect the decisions that you're going to make for both your personal and your business life. I come to you every Monday through Friday on Spreaker Radio, Roar, 1776 Radio, and MyCast Live Radio from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. Pacific Time. Also on 405 Media Radio every Monday through Friday from 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. Pacific Time. And we're on the Pundit Press, PNN Talk Radio, and SHR Media Radio with the Conservative Syndicate every Monday and Friday from 3:30 p.m. to 4 p.m. Pacific Time, in addition to countless terrestrial stations worldwide. Please follow me on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Google+, Podomatic, and YouTube, where you can listen to all of my shows 24/7. Go to my website at www.robertcardozalive.com for archives of all my radio and television shows. You can also access my show live right from my website each day, simply by clicking on that little icon labeled Listen Live. Email me at robertcardozalive@gmail.com, where I get all the emails I deal with here on the show. And you can call into my show if you want to comment or just engage me in conversation about anything. You can dial directly into the studio at area code 909-545-6516. Again, that number, 909-545-6516. On today's show, we're going to discuss what's on the news, new legislation, the IRS loses, and I'm going to answer your emails just like I always do. And today's special segment, Sean LaFave continues his series, Geared for Wellness. And our own Suzette Mailer will be reporting on the environment. It'll be interesting to see what she's got to say. But right now, I want you to stand by for news. But before that, I want you to know that at 3:02 p.m. Pacific Time, it's currently 82 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny Southern California. Well, you know what? I'm going to give you an encapsulated view of the news. We're just kind of abbreviated, I guess, so we can give you a lot of what's going on in the news today. And then we'll get more in depth. But first off, the 10 things that you need to know for Tuesday. That's today. Your daily look at late-breaking news, upcoming events, and the stories that will be talked about all day today and probably tomorrow. First up, the San Bernardino killers turned toward extremism. The FBI says that both the husband and wife had been radicalized for quite some time. But how or by whom remain unanswered questions. And Trump calls for complete shutdown on Muslims entering the United States. The proposed ban, swiftly condemned by his rival GOP candidates, would apply to immigrants and visitors alike. And Justice Department begins a broad probe of the Chicago police. The investigation opens a city plagued for years by accusations of police brutality to broad federal scrutiny for the first time. And what's unnerving Wall Street? Well, the price of a barrel of oil falls to $37.65 a barrel, a nearly 7-year low. Well, that might be bad for the oil guys, but it's great for us at the pump. And survivors mark Pearl Harbor anniversary. A few dozen elderly men who survived the Japanese bombing 74 years ago gather at the site to remember fellow servicemen who didn't make it. You know, of course, the bombing of Pearl Harbor took place on December 7th. That would have been an anniversary for yesterday. Well, both sides await an election results in Venezuela. The opposition is threatening to build a supermajority in the legislature and wrest power from President Maduro after 17 years of socialist rule. Well, where Islamic State group got its weapons? Most of the vast and varied arsenal that is being used to commit war crimes in Syria and elsewhere was seized from the Iraqi army, Amnesty International says. You know, the Iraqi army got it, right? Yep. We got it. We gave it to him. Well, rapper is looking for a big night at the Grammys. Kendrick Lamar is the leading nominee for the 2016 awards with 11, including Album of the Year for The Pimp a Butterfly. And which name Kanye picked for the baby boy? Kim Kardashian West and hubby Kanye have chosen the name St. West for North's younger brother. And finally, the Heisman field is narrowed to 3. Alabama running back Derrick Henry, Clemson quarterback Deshaun Watson, and Stanford's Christian McCaffrey are the finalists for this year's trophy. So we'll see who actually winds up with that. Right now, let's do a little more of in-depth news. Well, the U.S.'s official, Iran tested another ballistic missile in November. Iran tested a ballistic missile last month, the U.S. official said today, describing the second such test this summer's nuclear agreement. Since this summer's nuclear agreement, the State Department said only that it was conducting a serious review of such reports. The test occurred November the 21st, according to the official, coming on top of an October 10th test Iran confirmed at the time. The official said other undeclared tests occurred earlier than that, but declined to elaborate. The official wasn't authorized to speak on the matter and demanded anonymity. Ballistic missiles are especially sensitive with Iran because they could provide the delivery system for a nuclear warhead. As part of a nuclear negotiations with world powers, Iran in July accepted an 8-year extension of a UN ban on its ballistic missile program. The November test was first reported by Fox News, which said a mid-range missile with a range of 1,200 miles was launched from a known site near the Gulf of Oman. The test may reflect an effort by Iranian hardliners to derail the nuclear pact, coming on top of the recent arrests of the American citizen and U.S. resident, and reports that Washington Post reporter Jason Rezaian was sentenced to an unspecified prison term following an espionage conviction. Well, we'll see what happens with that, right? It's, what a mess the whole world is in. How about this? Trump's Muslim ban idea pushes GOP toward chaos. Donald Trump's plan to ban Muslims from entering the United States is shoving the Republican Party to the edge of chaos, abruptly pitting GOP leaders against their own presidential frontrunner and jeopardizing the party's longtime drive to attract minorities. Unbowed, Trump fired a searing warning today via Twitter to fellow Republicans carping about his proposal. A majority of his supporters, he tweeted, would vote for me if I departed the GOP and ran as an independent. Now, the crossfire between Trump and frustrated Republicans became a furious blur the day after the billionaire businessman announced his plan. Beleaguered 2016 rivals condemned his proposal and complained that his divisive positions were dominating attention in the crowded Republican contest. Party elders, meanwhile, warned that too much criticism might indeed push him to abandon the GOP and launch a third-party bid that could hand the presidential election to the Democrats. Well, time will tell. Now, before we do anything else, when we come back, I'm going to talk about Republicans weary of the immigration from the Mideast, and I'll tell you all about that right after these brief messages, so do not go away. We'll be right back, folks.
If you want to increase your client base and sales, then consider this, the Relationship Building Network at RBN. Given the current economic conditions and challenges, we all need to work smarter, make smarter decisions, invest our hard-earned dollars where it'll yield the best return for our investment. Many business professionals claim that the most effective networking group in Orange County is RBN. No other networking group or organization can offer what RBN offers. Make every year your best year. Join RBN and start reaping the benefits today. Nearly 3,000 businesses have joined RBN and experienced those benefits. Why join RBN? It's one group. It's one membership. It's no renewals. It's all through Orange County. RBN is a freestyle networking group. No mandatory attendance, no restrictions, no rules, and no penalties. Call them at 949-830-5776 or go to their website at rbninfo.com. That's 949-830-5776. If you've ever dreamed of having your own business to make your life secure, Water's Edge Wineries might be just the ticket. In 2004, their founder, Ken Lineberger, created the first winery franchise in California. It was a new concept with all of the functionality of a traditional winery, but without the vineyards. They purchased high-quality grape must from one of the largest winemaking companies in the world. Then they craft each wine carefully and bottle it right at their location. The winery was built to satisfy consumer demand for wine by the bottle and by the glass, but still kept the element of allowing customers to bottle their own custom vintage. Now, They're opening urban wineries across the United States under the brand Water's Edge Wineries. If you've ever dreamed of owning your own winery, it may be in reach right now from Water's Edge Wineries. Just give them a call at 909-468-9463, extension 700. That's Water's Edge Wineries, 909-468-9463. Have you ever found yourself caught between a rock and a hard place? The law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett might be just the answer for you. The attorneys of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett have been serving the Inland Empire since 1989. They're dedicated to the aggressive litigation of civil, criminal, and real estate matters. Over the years, they have recovered tens of millions of dollars for their clients. The firm's practice specializes in litigation of personal injury, accident, slip and fall, real estate, and criminal law cases. The firm provides clients with the care, accuracy, and dedication of experienced attorneys. Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett is located at 10300 4th Street, Suite 150 in Rancho Cucamonga, California. They've been providing the Inland Empire residents with outstanding legal services for over 25 years. They look forward to providing you with aggressive legal representation. Call them at 909-945-5000, where you can talk to a person, not a machine. That's 909-945-5000, the law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett. And now let's get back to our show where we talk about politics, money, and you.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. And we're talking news. And right up, the Associated Press has a poll. They say the Republicans are wary of immigration from the Middle East. Now, this came in just 10 minutes ago. With his call for blocking Muslims from entering the United States, Donald Trump may be tapping into deep concern among Republican voters about allowing Middle Eastern immigrants into the country, according to a new Associated Press poll. In particular, a majority of Republicans see a high risk that refugees from Syria will commit acts of religious and political violence in the United States, the poll finds. The poll was conducted before Trump made his contentious proposal yesterday, so it does not reflect public opinion about the plan, but it indicates a suspicion of newcomers from the region where Muslims predominate and followers last week's shootings in San Bernardino and California. The AP survey found widespread antipathy toward immigration from the Middle East, with 54% of Americans saying the U.S. takes in too many people from the volatile region. Among Republicans, about three-quarters of the responders held that view, compared with about half of the independents and more than a third of Democrats. Well, you know what? Time will tell. Why you don't want to hear it while it kind of goes against the grain? I think that the predominant requirement here is the safety and security of the citizens of the United States. Well, Syrian refugees resettled in resistant Texas and Indiana. Now, this came in 18 minutes ago. Syrian families have been settled in Texas and Indiana. The groups helping them said today, defying efforts by the conservative state's governors to stop their arrival. The family of 6 went to live yesterday near relatives already living in the Dallas area, said Lucy Kerrigan, a spokeswoman for the International Rescue Committee. They seem very happy, Kerrigan said, noting that they were put up in an apartment with basic furniture and a stocked refrigerator, and it was almost like breathing a sigh of relief that they have arrived. This has been a long journey for them, and it's been a long journey for a lot of Syrian refugees. Kerrigan declined to make family members available for an interview, but she said they were not fazed by the state's fight or concerns that they might not be welcome in Texas. 15 more Syrians are expected to arrive in Houston this week, according to court findings made by federal officials. And it begins, right? Yeah, absolutely. Well, the United States makes it official. Iran tested another ballistic missile in November. Iran tested a ballistic missile last month. You know what? We already talked about that. That's kind of old news. Let's get past that. Chicago police misconduct has frayed relations with blacks. Well, you'd think so, right? How about this? A Southside police commander and his officers tortured black suspects into confessing to crimes they did not commit. Another rogue unit shook down drug dealers on the west side for drugs and money. A different group of officers accepted payments from drug dealers to warn them of police raids. And for years, whenever Chicago officers did something wrong, their colleagues covered for them. The city's long-standing reputation for police misconduct and brutality shattered relations with the black community long before the federal government announced this week that it was launching a wide-ranging civil rights investigation of the Chicago Police Department. The probe was prompted by a video showing a white officer shooting a black teen 16 times and revelations that other officers filed false reports about what actually happened. There's a deep mistrust, and it really becomes a cancer here in Chicago because it eats away at respect for authority and respect for the law that becomes toxic, said the Reverend Marshall Hatch of New Mount Pilgrim Missionary Baptist Church. He said some communities feel like they're being occupied by police rather than protected by them. Isn't that sad? Yeah. Well, I guess you could say, they say it about New Jersey. I guess they could say it about Chicago, too. It's business as usual, right? Well, Utah, the search resumes for Jay Cutler's brother-in-law. As the search resumes for NFL quarterback Jay Cutler's brother-in-law, investigators are examining whether one factor in the 30-year-old's disappearance was his recent arrest on allegations that he acted threateningly toward a woman and had a gun. Michael Cavallari's car was found abandoned 12 days ago in southern Utah. Now, today, a team of 30 officers along with search dogs and drones fanned out in the desolate area about 200 miles south of Salt Lake City looking for him. Grand County Sheriff Stephen White said Cavallari is the brother of reality TV personality Kristen Cavallari. Investigators still don't know where he was headed or what he was doing in Utah, but they're considering all possibilities, including that he doesn't want to be found, White said. Well, that's on their radar because Michael Cavallari was arrested in Southern California on an allegation of making threats 4 days before the 2014 Honda Civic was actually found in Utah. Well, the House tightens controls on visa-free travel to the United States. Driven by the Paris terror attacks, the House voted overwhelmingly today to tighten controls on travel to the United States and require visas for anyone who's been in Iraq or Syria in the previous 5 years. The legislation takes aim at the visa waiver program that allows citizens of 38 countries to travel to the United States for stays of 90 days and less without first obtaining a visa from the embassy or consulate. Belgium and France, home to most of the perpetrators of last month's Paris attacks, are among the participating countries. The bill, which passed 407 to 19, that's bipartisan, folks, hallelujah, would institute a series of changes, including the new visa requirements for citizens of Iraq, Syria, and any other country deemed a terrorist hotspot, along with anyone who's traveled to those countries in a previous 5 years. Exceptions are made for official government visits and military service. That's the way it should be. Now, do not go away, because when we come back, I'm going to talk about the IRS loses. And the first case is a split case. It's where the husband is responsible for the family business taxes, but the wife is not. And I'll tell you all about it right after these brief messages. So please, don't go away. We'll be right back.
Isn't it time to shine the spotlight on your expertise? The Interview, starring you. Here's your chance to capture 5 minutes of fame with The Interview. This isn't just any interview. This is your opportunity to showcase your expertise and position yourself as a trusted expert in a one-on-one video interview hosted by Robert Cardoza, host of the nationally syndicated show Robert Cardoza Live and powered by AHA Studios. What is it? A professionally recorded video for your use. Robert Cardoza interviews you on the set where he records his show. Professional interview showcases your expertise and value, shot in a state-of-the-art studio. And what's in it for you? Gain credibility as an expert, earn the trust of your target market, educate in a way that intrigues your audience, gain a powerful marketing tool that offers dozens of uses, website, video sharing sites, social media, email, DVDs, direct mail, lobby video, resumes, profile building, all that kind of stuff. Association with the nationally syndicated celebrity. That's right. And let's talk about AHA Studios. AHA is a strategic marketing firm that leverages the powerful in visual persuasion to help your business create powerful messages that connect with your target market. AHA ventures way beyond strategy, delivering the marketing collateral you need to start driving a new business through your doors. AHA has a full-service, in-house, state-of-the-art production studio to bring your messages to life using video. Discover how to make the interview work for you. Call 949-831-2222. That's 949-831-2222. AHA Image Studios Incorporated. Dr. Stephen Tidwell, Gentle Family Dentistry in a caring, personalized environment. Here at Dr. Tidwell's office, we are dedicated to helping you keep your teeth healthy. We are a state-of-the-art dental practice that still believes in traditional values, such as excellent customer service and individual attention. We have a special welcoming offer for you for just $39, a complete exam, personal consultation, professional cleaning, and all necessary x-rays. That's a $266 value for $39. Dr. Tidwell has 2 convenient locations and experienced staff to provide you with professional care and personal attention that you deserve. Call today. Don't delay. A great smile another day. Call 909-944-7308. That's 909-944-7308 for Rancho Cucamonga or San Bernardino. Joel Saltzman is Dr. Wireless. He has turned his considerable expertise into consumer credit risk and wireless security into a highly specialized independent web-based consulting enterprise targeting consumer credit risk analysis and wireless transactional security and monitoring. He works as a wireless analyst, veteran independent agent, and consumer liaison for most wireless telecom carriers and equipment manufacturers. For more than 20 years, corporate and private clients and media audiences have counted on his unvarnished advice while weighing the technology, performance, and cost differences between Sprint, Nextel, AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile. Joel specializes in setting up mobile wireless hotspots to be used for disaster preparedness, business continuity, and mobile wireless merchant processing solutions. Call Dr. Wireless at 310-400-4900 or go to his webpage at drwireless.com. Again, call 310-400-4900 or his webpage at drwireless.com. You'll be glad you did. And now, back to our show.
The story you are about to see is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent.
Oh yeah, here we are, my favorite part of the show, the IRS loses. And you know what? I don't want to waste any time. Let's get right into it. These are just really great stories. The first one, as I mentioned before, is an IRS split. This is one where a husband is held responsible for family businesses' taxes, but the wife is not. Here's the story. Jack Boyoichin, I think I'm pronouncing that right, was owner and president of Far Hills Community Management Incorporated, a community associations management company, and his wife Linda was an employee. Now, when Far Hills failed to remit taxes withheld from employees' pay, the IRS held Jack and Linda personally liable for more than $200,000. He as CEO and she as the firm's accountant. They went to court. This is what the judge said. Jack's defense that he didn't know the non-payment of the tax was not credible. And even if true, not effective, since it was his responsibility to know. But Linda credibly testified that she dealt primarily with clients and did not have control over the checkbook or deciding which creditors got paid. So she escapes that responsibility. You know, if you don't think that's a big deal, you're wrong. That's a big deal, folks. Well, how about this? The IRS loses. They cannot avoid answering questions. And I'll tell you, try it, and they continue to try all the time. Here's the case. A company filed a refund suit against the IRS. During the suit, it filed questions for the IRS to answer. The IRS answered them all by saying its attorneys lacked sufficient knowledge about them to give an answer. The company protested, went to court. This is what the judge actually said. The issue wasn't whether the IRS's attorneys knew the answers to the questions, but whether the IRS itself knew the answers. Now, dodging the questions by saying the attorneys didn't know the answers violated court rules and was non-responsive. So, the non-answer answers are struck. The company is allowed to ask a new set of questions in excess of what the court rules normally would have allowed, and the IRS is directed to answer them. God, that's gotta send chills up your spine, right? I just love this stuff. Here's when the IRS conceded. Now, you've heard me say it before. The IRS only concedes when they're pretty sure they can't prevail in court. Here's the case. Airline ticket tax does not apply to ticket provider's fee. Sounds a little complicated, doesn't it? But here's the case. A business sells airline tickets to travelers. It buys them from airlines in arm's length transactions, charges their cost to the travelers, and adds its own fee. Here's the issues. Who's responsible for the airline ticket tax, which is a percentage of the ticket price, and does it apply to the business's fee? The IRS ruling, the business is independent, not an agent of the airline. It does not provide transportation, but only facilitates the purchase of taxable transportation. So, the tax is owed by the traveler and is to be collected and remitted by the airline, not the agency, on the cost of the ticket alone and not on the agency's fees. Now, that's exactly what you'd expect. I don't even know why that even got to the IRS. Well, you've heard me talking about being a fly on the wall when the IRS is doing stuff. That's where we're at now with this section that we call Inside the IRS. Okay, now you've heard me say it before. Now, these are not tax court cases, but these are instances where the IRS has made determinations that you can actually use for your own defense and put it into your own cases. And you'll find these really kind of interesting. I'm only going to do probably one because I know my good buddy Sean Lefebvre is waiting in the wings, and I'm going to try and give him a couple of extra minutes here today, so we're going to go to a commercial break a little bit early. But let me give you at least one of these. Deducting medical costs or medical expenses even if you're not sick. You ever think about that? Well, under IRS rules, a deduction will be allowed for an expense paid for the diagnosis, cure, mitigation, treatment, or prevention of disease for the purpose of affecting any structure or function of the body. Now, you say, what about a pregnancy test? Well, the IRS ruled that the amount paid for a pregnancy test actually qualifies as an expense for medical care since it affects the function of the body. Also deductible, although not part of the revenue ruling, whirlpool baths prescribed by a physician and mattresses bought specifically to alleviate arthritic conditions and those kind of things. I'm telling you, this can go into spas, this can go into pools, this can go into steam rooms. There's no limit to what you can do if you do it properly, you do it correctly, and you're not scamming this thing. But if you know what you're doing, you can get a really serious tax break. So keep that in mind. Now, do not go away. We're going to go a little bit early for a commercial break because when we come back, we're going to talk to my good buddy Sean Lefebvre as he continues his series, Geared for Wellness. We'll be right back, folks, so don't go away.
If you want to increase your client base and sales, then consider this, the Relationship Building Network at RBN. Given the current economic conditions and challenges, we all need to work smarter, make smarter decisions, invest our hard-earned dollars where it'll yield the best return for our investment. Many business professionals claim that the most effective networking group in Orange County is RBN. No other networking group or organization can offer what RBN offers. Make every year your best year. Join RBN and start reaping the benefits today. Nearly 3,000 businesses have joined RBN and experienced those benefits. Why join RBN? It's one group. It's one membership. It's no renewals. It's all through Orange County. RBN is a freestyle networking group. No mandatory attendance, no restrictions, no rules, and no penalties. Call them at 949-830-5776 or go to their website at rbninfo.com. That's 949-830-5776. If you've ever dreamed of having your own business to make your life secure, Water's Edge Wineries might be just the ticket. In 2004, their founder, Ken Lineberger, created the first winery franchise in California. It was a new concept with all of the functionality of a traditional winery, but without the vineyards. They purchased high-quality grape must from one of the largest winemaking companies in the world. Then they craft each wine carefully and bottle it right at their location. The winery was built to satisfy consumer demand for wine by the bottle and by the glass, but still kept the element of allowing customers to bottle their own custom vintage. Now, they're opening urban wineries across the United States under the brand Water's Edge Wineries. If you've ever dreamed of owning your own winery, it may be in reach right now through Water's Edge Wineries. Just give them a call at 909-468-9463, extension 700. That's Water's Edge Wineries, 909-468-9463. Have you ever found yourself caught between a rock and a hard place? The law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett might be just the answer for you. The attorneys of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett have been serving the Inland Empire since 1989. They're dedicated to the aggressive litigation of civil, criminal, and real estate matters. Over the years, they have recovered tens of millions of dollars for their clients. The firm's practice specializes in litigation of personal injury, accident, slip and fall, real estate, and criminal law cases. The firm provides clients with the care, accuracy, and dedication of experienced attorneys. Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett is located at 10300 4th Street, Suite 150 in Rancho Cucamonga, California. They've been providing the Inland Empire residents with outstanding legal services for over 25 years. They look forward to providing you with aggressive legal representation. Call them at 909-945-5000, where you can talk to a person, not a machine. That's 909-945-5000, the law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett. And now let's get back to our show where we talk about politics, money, and you.
And I'm Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. We're at 3:32 p.m. Pacific time. Currently 82 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny Southern California. And my good buddy Sean LaFave is basking in the beauty of God's country in Laguna Beach, California. Where right now it's 75 degrees and mostly cloudy, and they're waiting for rain later on in the week. But let me get a proper introduction for Sean, and let's get him in here and see what he wants to talk about.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, coming to you from his personal meditation lounge in Orange County, California, a professional dedicated to conquering many chronic conditions from autism to weight loss and everything in between. The nationally recognized wellness coach, consultant, and lecturer, Sean LaFave, in his Geared for Wellness Corner.
Hey, Sean, welcome aboard, my friend. If it's Sean LaFave, it must be Tuesday or Thursday or both or something in between, and God only knows what, right? Hey, Sean. Sean, are you there? Sean? Sean LaFave. Are you listening to me? Hey, let's see. Let's try this again here. Hang on a second. You know what? He is texting me. He says, we still on? Yeah, he's still on, but he doesn't hear anything, and I'm not hearing him. I think what he needs to do is recall. Let me call back. Let me try it that way. Call back now. Okay. So we got that. We'll send that off to him and see if that fixes what's going on here. Because we lost him. And now, hopefully, he'll call us back, and that'll take care of it. So he'll call us right back here in just a second, and see if that gets it taken care of. You know, Sean. So you know what? Every once in a while, we wind up with a. There he is. Okay, do we got you, Sean?
I'm here.
Okay, I don't know. It looked like you were alive, but you weren't hearing me, and I wasn't hearing you. Thank goodness for the texting ability, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm sitting here and I'm like, man, it is just too awfully quiet right now.
Yeah, it wasn't
the first time I think I ever got worried.
Yeah, it wasn't. Well, you know what? I'm glad you worried, because at least you had the technology available so that you and I could communicate, and you were smart enough to say, "Hey, are we on or not?"
All right. Well, I'm glad I'm back.
Oh, I'm glad you are too. Listen, how was your weekend, my friend?
You know, it was good. You know, I had a lot of fun. In Corona Del Mar, they do a big Christmas walk every year, and restaurants all give out, like, they'll either give out free samples, or they'll have, like, you know, pieces of their menu, you know, where they cook it, and you can just get a small little plate of it, you know, for cheap. Or, you know, a lot of the stores will actually have, like, there was one of the real estate places there, this guy makes chili. He makes a great big pot of chili every year, and you can go get chili, and about every couple blocks there's a band outside playing music.
Okay, so this happens every year?
This happens every year, yeah. It's a Christmas walk every year in Corona Del Mar.
Is it just one day, or is it throughout the first 25 days of December, or what is it?
Yeah, It's just one day. I think it's the first Sunday of every month. I think is how it goes, something like that.
Oh, so it's not just Christmas; it's the first Sunday of every month.
I mean, so the first Sunday in December every year. I'm sorry. The first Sunday of December every year. I'm sorry, not every month, but every December.
Well, I'm gonna put that on my calendar because that sounds like a lot of fun.
It's a lot of fun. Oh my gosh, it was just a great time. We had a lot of fun and listening to music, walking around, meeting all kinds of cool people. I may have even had a bourbon.
Oh, really? Two. On the street, or do you go into the bar?
No, you go into the bars. Yeah. The bars. All the bars are like the bars, and especially the restaurant bars. I mean, there'll be a line outside. They're all just packed. Yeah, just packed. Like there are places in that area where I'll go once in a while. Where it's not really all that busy, but during the Christmas walk, it's there's a line out the door pretty much every place that's good.
And what time does the Christmas walk start?
It starts at I think it goes from 11 to 4.
Wow, that sounds that sounds like a blast.
It is. And it was perfect. It was 75 degrees or 70 something anyway, maybe low to mid 70s and sunny all day, and I mean it was just perfect. It was a really good time.
So is that it's up and down PCH or to the side streets too?
Yep. You just walk. It's about probably maybe a 2-mile section of PCH. Maybe not quite 2 miles. Maybe it's only 1.5 miles or something. But yeah, it's just up and down PCH both sides.
Well, you know what? For those listeners that are not in this country and the ones that are back east, PCH is Pacific Coast Highway, and it's right on the ocean. Right on the ocean. So
yep, Highway 1, right on the ocean.
Yep.
It's just gorgeous. It's such a fun place, and it's so developed. Back in the day, of course, it was just you could drive and there's hardly any buildings. There was just all beach, and now there's like stores and all kinds of shops and everything all over the place.
Speaking of, and of course, this is in a lovely area that you're talking about. But speaking of Highway 1, when you ever take the Highway 1 north of Pismo Beach?
Oh yeah, well my parents used to live in Pismo Beach and in San Luis Obispo, and oh gosh, you drive all the cliffs there and everything. That's just a beautiful drive.
Oh, that's just drop dead gorgeous that area there. Hey, listen, I know that you have prepared something for today, so I don't want to take up all the time that we've allocated here. So what do you got on the agenda for today?
Well, it's terrible because now we're you have all this. We were talking about all this fun stuff, and what I have prepared is it's good. It's probably needs to be talked about, but it's not necessarily fun. But I got this article, and I got a couple of other ones to kind of go along with it to follow up. But this is a couple months old, so it's not brand new. But I didn't see it when it came out, and I don't even remember how I ran across this one. But this woman in Tennessee was the first woman charged on what they're calling a controversial law. And I really don't. That's I think the part that really got me was they said this is a controversial law that criminalizes drug use during pregnancy. And so what the law states is that if the infant is harmed or addicted to the drug after birth, they run a test, and then if so, the mother is charged for assault.
So are they talking about amphetamines and things like that, or are they talking about antibiotics or anything?
Yeah, no, it would have to be obviously if it's not prescribed by a physician.
Okay, so amphetamines, uppers, downers, heroin, anything like that, right?
In her case, it was meth, but yes. Yeah, any type of drug abuse is it's even if it's prescription medications, but let's say they're doing painkillers, but they're doing more than what you should be doing, and they're doing it without a prescription. Any type of drug use that harms the baby or the baby comes out addicted to it, then it's considered assault.
So the exemption would be if you're doing this under a doctor's care?
Right, yeah, because you would assume, the doctors, have the Hippocratic Oath, first do no harm, and that means to the mom and the baby both. And so it was an interesting case. She's 26 years old. She did meth. In fact, she had finally admitted it to doing meth just a few days before she gave birth. They tested her, they tested the baby, and they both showed positive for meth, and she was literally arrested on her way out of the hospital.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, this is arrested after the birth of the baby, right?
Right, yeah. After the baby was born. Yeah. This is, let me see, what did it say? anyway, I can't remember exactly that verbiage is, but it was after the baby was born. They tested when her and the baby both came back positive. That's when she was tested. When she was arrested, and it said in there while leaving the hospital.
So I'm going to throw a wrinkle at you because you're the only guy I know to ask this of. Let's assume that, and I got to tell you, just based on what you said already, I actually support that law. But
I do.
Yeah, but what could be, you get, if the mother is addicted and she's taking drugs, I'm guessing the baby gets addicted too. Besides the addiction, there's got to be a tremendous amount of other downsides to a newborn for being born under these circumstances. Could you kind of expand on that a little bit?
Oh, sure, yeah. There's obviously, like you said, there's the actual physical addiction that the child is going to have to overcome, but there tends to go along with that a lot of developmental issues. A lot of times children will be born premature, or they'll be born very underweight. There tends to be a higher incidence of mental development. They maybe are grow up with a lower IQ or some sort of other mental disability. There's just a lot of physical and mental developmental issues that tend to go along with children who are born addicted to these hard drugs and even alcohol.
And that's if they even survive the birth, right?
Right, exactly, yeah. That's if they survive. And most of them, unfortunately, I don't know if I say fortunate or unfortunate, they do survive, but then they have complications literally for the rest of their lives. I mean, some of these things it creates permanent, brain damage that they just are never able to overcome even as an adult.
So now, now because I'm old and I'm going to forget to ask. So let's assume that you give birth to a baby that is addicted and has all of these catastrophic problems going on. What is the potential penalty to the mother? Gets arrested, goes to jail, goes to prison. What happens?
I know that the law specifically, at least it says in the article here, that the woman is to be prosecuted for assault for the illegal use of a narcotic drug while pregnant, and then it goes on to say if her infant is harmed or addicted to the drug. And so I assume that the punishment will be far less if they can prove that there's been no physical harm or no physical addiction to the child. It's like anything else. If you walk up to somebody and you slap them in the face, well, that's still assault. But it's a whole lot different than knocking somebody to the ground and kicking their face in, 5 or 6 times. And so, I assume that the severity of damage done to the baby is going to dictate the severity of the punishment that's being handed down.
Yeah, and you know what? You got to question the mentality of a mother that is an addict and continues to use with the knowledge that she is pregnant.
Yeah, and that's, I think that it kind of really displays the power of the addictive properties of a lot of these drugs. I've said a million times, I've never even seen meth. I don't ever want to be in the same room with the stuff that's so addictive. I can't for the life of me understand people who have any mental capacity at all who try meth for the first time, because I've known people who have done meth, who I've talked to, and they said they got over it. They were able to overcome the addiction. But every person that I've talked to who actually became addicted to meth, they've all said the same thing, and that is that they were addicted to it the very first time that they used it. And it's a powerful addiction. It's one that, I've talked to people who say, I haven't done meth for years and I still want it.
They used to say the same thing about heroin. You take one shot and you're hooked on it. I remember when I was in private practice, I had a young lady that was high on marijuana. I didn't know it. And it wasn't until my chief of staff came into my office and said, so-and-so is, a high. I said, what are you talking about high? I just talked to her a few minutes ago. And she said, no, she's high on marijuana. You know what? I didn't even know it.
Yeah. There are people who can, there's people who do a lot of different drugs and still seem normal, but marijuana is one of those ones that, there's a lot of people out there that smoke it. And while we were at the Christmas walk, we were sitting in the bar. I was there with a group of friends, and it was just a crowded bar area, so
you got that sweet smell in the air, right?
You got that sweet. So these two guys and two girls walk in, and one of the women sits down right next to a friend of mine, and they're kind of close, and they're kind of like brushing shoulders with people, kind of touching it. At one point, I look across at the woman, and she's just shaking her head like, I can't even believe this is happening. And I thought that she was not happy that my friend was kind of like, brushed up against her, even though we were there first. And I'm kind of like, what is she got going on? And my friend turns and says, oh, I'm sorry, am I too close? She goes, no. And she looks at me like she could see like the look of confusion on my face. She goes, oh, the reason I'm shaking my head, she goes, my sister smells like pot. And all of a sudden I went, and this girl was 3 people away from me. I'm like, oh my God, I can smell it. Yeah, well, apparently her sister does it for medicinal purposes, but I guess she was sat in the car and she smoked it. But this girl, I would have never guessed. I mean, you could smell it. It was really strong, but she acted totally normal. And pot is one of those ones that's,
well, hold that thought, because we're a minute over for our commercial. We're going to come back and we're going to talk about pot. Now, this is not the kind of pot you cook in. This is the kind of pot that can cook you if you got too much of it. We'll be right back with our own. Yeah, we'll be right back with our own Sean LaFave in Geared for Wellness right after these brief messages. Do not go away.
Isn't it time to shine the spotlight on your expertise? The Interview, starring you. Here's your chance to capture 5 minutes of fame with The Interview. This isn't just any interview. This is your opportunity to showcase your expertise and position yourself as a trusted expert in a one-on-one video interview hosted by Robert Cardoza, host of the nationally syndicated show Robert Cardoza Live and powered by AHA Studios. What is it? A professionally recorded video for your use. Robert Cardoza interviews you on the set where he records his show. Professional interview showcases your expertise and value, shot in a state-of-the-art studio. And what's in it for you? Gain credibility as an expert, earn the trust of your target market, educate in a way that intrigues your audience, gain a powerful marketing tool that offers dozens of uses, website, video sharing sites, social media, email, DVDs, direct mail, lobby video, resumes, profile building, all that kind of stuff. Association with the nationally syndicated celebrity. That's right. And let's talk about AHA Studios. AHA is a strategic marketing firm that leverages the powerful in visual persuasion to help your business create powerful messages that connect with your target market. AHA ventures way beyond strategy, delivering the marketing collateral you need to start driving a new business through your doors. AHA has a full-service, in-house, state-of-the-art production studio to bring your messages to life using video. Discover how to make The Interview work for you. Call 949-831-2222. That's 949-831-2222. AHA Image Studios Incorporated. Dr. Stephen Tidwell, Gentle Family Dentistry in a caring, personalized environment. Here at Dr. Tidwell's office, we are dedicated to helping you keep your teeth healthy. We are a state-of-the-art dental practice that still believes in traditional values, such as excellent customer service and individual attention. We have a special welcoming offer for you for just $39, a complete exam, personal consultation, professional cleaning, and all necessary x-rays. That's a $266 value for $39. Dr. Tidwell has 2 convenient locations and experienced staff to provide you with professional care and personal attention that you deserve. Call today. Don't delay. A great smile another day. Call 909-944-7308. That's 909-944-7308 for Rancho Cucamonga or San Bernardino. Joel Saltzman is Dr. Wireless. He has turned his considerable expertise into consumer credit risk and wireless security into a highly specialized independent web-based consulting enterprise targeting consumer credit risk analysis and wireless transactional security and monitoring. He works as a wireless analyst, veteran independent agent, and consumer liaison for most wireless telecom carriers and equipment manufacturers. For more than 20 years, corporate and private clients and media audiences have counted on his unvarnished advice while weighing the technology, performance, and cost differences between Sprint, Nextel, AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile. Joel specializes in setting up mobile wireless hotspots to be used for disaster preparedness, business continuity, and mobile wireless merchant processing solutions. Call Dr. Wireless at 310-400-4900 or go to his webpage at drwireless.com. Again, call 310-400-4900 or his webpage at drwireless.com. You'll be glad you did. And now, back to our show.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza Live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. We're talking to my good buddy Sean LaFave. We're talking about pot. Now, you know, when I was a young guy, pot was something you cooked in, and grass was something you cut. You didn't smoke it. And, you know, when a pecan was a nut, it wasn't a pot at the end of the bed. So, you know, now we've got a whole different conversation going on. So we're going to have Sean tell us all about this new law that, did you say it was in Colorado? Is that, or Texas? I forget what you said. Where you said
this one was in Tennessee. And here's the really interesting thing is the backlash, and this is why I really want to talk to you, because obviously the health side of it to me is real common sense. You know, it should be illegal to do drugs because they cause birth defects in children. That's not, you know, if I went up to a woman and I did something physically harm her and it affected the child's life as well, I would be charged with that. And so the woman should be accountable for things that she does that affect the women or affect the baby in the womb. But before I go back to some of the backlash, I do want to say that first of all, this woman, she was released on bail, $2,000 bail, which is like, you know, $2,000 isn't a lot, and she was charged with a misdemeanor, which is fine. But what it goes on to say is that the law allows anyone charged to they can use entering a treatment program before birth and successfully completing it afterwards as a defense. So if she had started treatment for her addiction before she gave birth and finished it either before or after giving birth, she could stand up in her defense and say, hey, look, you know what, I did use while I was pregnant, but I also went to a treatment facility, and that can be used as part of your defense, right? Well, the law, for whatever reason, has
Wait a minute. Isn't the damage already done?
Well, it very well could be, yeah. But the fact that she attempted to fix it, you know, maybe would lessen the severity of her punishment. Mm-hmm. I don't know the exact, like, you know, what leeway they give judges on this and so on. Obviously, I don't know all the details of the law, but the fact is, the point that I'm making there is that they're at least encouraging these women to go in, and the law specifically encourages them to go get treatment. You know, okay, maybe she was doing what she shouldn't have been doing, but she finally says to the point, you know what, I'm not going to continue this for the last 3 months or whatever, you know, and so she at least tries to fix the problem before the child's born.
Well, let me ask you this, if you know the answer, because these are all legal questions. Neither one of us are attorneys, and so, but are you saying that law only exists in Tennessee, or is that a widespread law that is in multiple states?
I know it is in other states. I don't know if it's in all states, but I do know it is in other states. But I know that she's the first person charged with this law. I know Texas, for some reason, I read about it in Texas as well. But it says here that it was under opposition from both state and national critics, who said that it would hinder drug-addicted pregnant women from getting help and treatment, where clearly the law says that if you go seek treatment, you can use that as your defense. So it's really weird. And you have of course, you know, the one of my most hated organizations, the American Civil Liberties Union, has stepped in, and they're saying that they describe it as raising serious constitutional concerns regarding equal treatment under the law. Basically saying that, you know, we're putting harsher treatments on pregnant women, as if people who aren't pregnant are going to do something to affect the baby that's not even inside them. So it's really, I'm assuming you're familiar with the ACLU.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So they're absurd. I call them the American Civil Liberal Union, because anything they fight for is usually something that's so far to the left that even most people on the left would go. Even most people on the left would go, This is ridiculous. Like, of course you shouldn't do drugs when you're pregnant. You know, we know that you shouldn't smoke while you're pregnant. You shouldn't drink while you're pregnant. You know, there's the things that, you know, back in maybe the 50s were not really seen as such bad things. Nowadays we know, hey, you don't do that. But they said, this is their quote, this dangerous law, they're calling this law dangerous, right? This dangerous law unconstitutionally singles out new mothers struggling with addiction for criminal charges by focusing on punishing women rather than promoting healthy pregnancies. The state is only deterring women struggling with alcohol or drug dependency from seeking the prenatal care they need.
Who's the idiot that said that?
That was Thomas Castelli, legal director of the ACLU in Tennessee.
Man.
So, you know, and of course that's just a bunch of rhetoric. I don't understand how someone can stand up and say, well, this law is unfair because you're singling out pregnant women. Well, that's just sorry. the only people with babies inside of them are pregnant women. So you really can't. I mean, I guess the law could apply to a man if he just happened to have a baby inside of him, but that's never happened that I've seen before. So it's just But
well, you know what? If a man were caught harming a baby, he'd be sent to prison too, and the baby would be taken away.
Right, exactly. And and it's just so it blows my mind. It does raise. Well, it raises some ethical questions too. I think along the way.
You got a minute and a half to get it out.
We got a minute and a half to wrap this up.
Yeah.
Here I got this other article. I thought I'd be able to get at least. I have like 4 or 5 articles here. I thought I would be able to get to at least 2, but I'm not good. But this one here, and this one's from North Dakota.
But this is interesting. If we don't finish today, we still have Thursday.
We still have Thursday. So 2 days after giving birth, and this is back in 2014, Renee Peterson left the hospital with her baby, and she left with a prescription for 20 hydrocodone pills to treat the pain. A day later, she was prescribed another 15, and what she did is she took the pills, crushed them up, and snorted them, because it makes it work better that way. Mm-hmm. And she was totally high on these prescription drugs that she was abusing. She was breastfeeding her baby, fell asleep, passed out on top of them, suffocated the baby, and the baby died just a few days after being born. And what it says, the headline on this one is, hospital fails to test for drugs. Days later, a newborn is dead. And what they're saying is, if they had the wherewithal to test this woman and her baby for drugs, what they would have found was she was already using before she even gave birth. Yeah. And now the hospital prescribed her 20 pills, and a day later prescribed her another 15.
Well, and the hospital has to have some liability here. But you know what? Unfortunately, we're going to have to talk about it on Thursday.
Yeah, we will. Absolutely.
Okay, so
fascinating stuff.
Sean, this is fascinating. So let's plan on that. Well, we've got more time on Thursday. We'll deal with this in more depth.
You bet. Absolutely, Robert. I had a fun time, and I'm looking forward to another hour on Thursday.
Sounds great. You have a great evening. Stay safe and stay happy, and treat everybody like they want to be treated. And we'll talk to you on Thursday.
Absolutely. Thanks, Robert.
All right, buddy. Now, don't go away. When we come back, we're going to be with our own Suzette Mailer, who's reporting on the environment. We'll be right back after these brief messages. Don't go away.
If you want to increase your client base and sales, then consider this, the Relationship Building Network at RBN. Given the current economic conditions and challenges, we all need to work smarter, make smarter decisions, invest our hard-earned dollars where it'll yield the best return for our investment. Many business professionals claim that the most effective networking group in Orange County is RBN. No other networking group or organization can offer what RBN offers. Make every year your best year. Join RBN and start reaping the benefits today. Nearly 3,000 businesses have joined RBN and experienced those benefits. Why join RBN? It's one group. It's one membership. It's no renewals. It's all through Orange County. RBN is a freestyle networking group. No mandatory attendance, no restrictions, no rules, and no penalties. Call them at 949-830-5776 or go to their website at rbninfo.com. That's 949-830-5776. If you've ever dreamed of having your own business to make your life secure, Water's Edge Wineries might be just the ticket. In 2004, their founder, Ken Lineberger, created the first winery franchise in California. It was a new concept with all of the functionality of a traditional winery, but without the vineyards. They purchased high-quality grape must from one of the largest winemaking companies in the world. Then they craft each wine carefully and bottle it right at their location. The winery was built to satisfy consumer demand for wine by the bottle and by the glass, but still kept the element of allowing customers to bottle their own custom vintage. Now, they're opening urban wineries across the United States under the brand Water's Edge Wineries. If you've ever dreamed of owning your own winery, it may be in reach right now through Water's Edge Wineries. Just give them a call at 909-468-9463, extension 700. That's Water's Edge Wineries, 909-468-9463. Have you ever found yourself caught between a rock and a hard place? The law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett might be just the answer for you. The attorneys of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett have been serving the Inland Empire since 1989. They're dedicated to the aggressive litigation of civil, criminal, and real estate matters. Over the years, they have recovered tens of millions of dollars for their clients. The firm's practice specializes in litigation of personal injury, accident, slip and fall, real estate, and criminal law cases. The firm provides clients with the care, accuracy, and dedication of experienced attorneys. Blomberg, Benson & Garrett is located at 10300 4th Street, Suite 150 in Rancho Cucamonga, California. They've been providing the Inland Empire residents with outstanding legal services for over 25 years. They look forward to providing you with aggressive legal representation. Call them at 909-945-5000, where you can talk to a person, not a machine. That's 909-945-5000, the law offices of Blomberg, Benson & Garrett. And now let's get back to our show where we talk about politics, money, and you.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza Live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. We're at 4:01 p.m. Pacific Time. Currently 82 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny Southern California. Well, we've got our own Suzette Mailer waiting in the wings. She's in Long Beach, California. We're at 76 degrees and clear. Beautiful out there. And Suzette is our roving reporter on the environment. So, Suzette, welcome aboard.
Hi, Robert.
Hi, how are you? Listen, how was your weekend, darling?
It was very good. I generally have a good life, so no complaints. How about you?
Well, you know what? Had a great weekend. Friday, it's interesting. I was actually talking about you on the air Friday because Santa Catalina Island got into the discussion, and I was mentioning the fact that you and your husband and your daughter go there quite often for wonderful weekends. And so I was thinking about you on Friday and over the weekend as well.
Oh, well, thank you. Yeah, we do. We visit Catalina every year and love it out there. Some people say, well, there's nothing to do.
Some people what?
I just laugh. There's so much to do. It's so beautiful there.
Yes. You know what? So listen, what's on the agenda for today?
Well, I'm going to talk about being a citizen scientist, but first, I think we should cover some news. There are northerly storms hitting Southern California. Did you hear about that?
Yes, coming in Thursday and Friday, is it?
No, it's already here. Today's Monday. It's starting today, and then it's going to subside a little bit and hit again on Thursday.
Suzette, you missed Monday. Today's Tuesday.
Oh, sorry.
Now, so I must have got you wrong. What is it that's hitting again? I must have missed what you said.
So much for reporting.
No, yeah. So what are you saying that's hitting? I thought you said the storm was hitting, but that couldn't have been what you said.
No, it's actually they have 20-foot swells that are going to hit the coast or are hitting the coast, western-facing coastlines in Southern California.
Is that a result of the storm that's headed in?
Yeah, that is from a storm coming from Alaska, the Gulf of Alaska.
Oh. So that's the one. So that's the one that we're expecting rain on Thursday and Friday. Yeah, yes. But it's bringing us these waves or I don't know what you'd call them, these breakers that are so high today. So have you actually looked at them?
No, I did check out when I was out there. It was still low tide, but I do plan to go out there today, especially we have a beachfront community. It's an island, and I've mentioned this before, but when we have these high tides, the tides are higher than the sidewalk. So there's a wall, and it's not even a very good seawall. It has breaches in the seawall, so you can see water coming through the cracks. And I'm just wondering how it's going to hold up with these high surfs.
Yeah, because that's a lot of force. I mean, nature is a pretty tough thing to deal with.
Yes. So I find this stuff so exciting.
Well, you know what? Are you like me?
The climate change.
I'm going to say something, but I'm going to have to qualify it first. I was going to say I love severe weather. I love rain. I love storm. I love the wind. I love all those things. But not. I wouldn't. I don't think I would like it if it were a hurricane or a tornado or anything like that. But I like more severe weather. I think it's fun. When it gets cold enough, and tomorrow the next day it's going to really cool down out here. I'm looking forward to putting a fire in the fireplace, or maybe all three of them.
Just do one. And, but yes, it is exciting, and it does. Climate change does produce beautiful sunsets and sunrises, and lots of them. Orange skies, just some of the most beautiful weather, and clouds.
Yeah, don't you find yourself sometimes you look up into the sky and the sunset is so magnificent that you just run thank God most phones have cameras in them now, because you want to capture that. It's just and you can never capture the real beauty of it. But
no, I never thought my phone did justice to the beautiful clouds.
Yeah. I go
tropical looking clouds.
I go for a nice leisurely, not so leisurely, but I go for a nice long walk every day, and I love the environment. At one point I'm looking up into the mountains, the next point I'm in a tree lined street, the next point I'm on a trail, and I just love that. And every once in a while, depending on the time of day that I go out, because it varies depending on what I've got going on. Boy, you get to see the most beautiful sunsets and things like that. It's just gorgeous.
Yeah, it is.
So what's on the agenda? I kind of got you off the track here, and I apologize for it.
No, not at all. Listen, if you love that sort of thing, you should become a citizen scientist. And if not, this is something you can get your grandson into, or any kids in your family who are extreme.
Well, explain this. What does a citizen scientist do other than enjoy the environment around them?
That's a good question. Well, citizen scientists refers to volunteers who participate as field assistants in scientific studies. Mm-hmm. So the citizen scientists, they help monitor, for instance, wild animals or plants or other environmental markers, such as ocean plastics. Mm-hmm. And they're generally not paid for their assistance. And
it's a volunteer thing.
It's a volunteer thing. Yeah. So the most are amateurs who volunteer to assist in maybe ecological research because they love the outdoors like you, or they're concerned about the environmental trends and problems, and they want to do something about them. Mm-hmm. So I think, everybody can get involved in this. You're not required to analyze data or write scientific papers, but it's just collect the data and send it in. And sometimes there are apps where you can send it in, and you go online and you input the data, or maybe you ship it. Sometimes it requires you ship it to the scientist. So,
well,
many times they get recognition. You get your name on the project.
Well, I enjoy. Let me change that. Most of the time, I enjoy the environment. Sometimes you catch yourself in an environment that is not so pleasant. But where I live, where you live, it's actually most of the time is very nice. You're reminded fairly often of why you chose to live in Southern California. It's just absolutely magnificent, and the things that are available to see within an hour of wherever you are. But but I'm more into enjoying it and certainly being vocal if I think someone's abusing it than I am into studying it.
Yeah. Yeah. They have, you can choose an organization based on your locale, your age, interests, expertise, and time availability. Mm-hmm. And there are studies for kids to seniors and all ages in between. You can go online and just type, do some research to find a study that you might find interesting. Or if you've noticed maybe a lot of plastic in your stream, in your mountain, you can go online and see if there's somebody trying to collect data, because they're collecting data to try to make a difference in the world, and it's a way for everybody to contribute.
So would you Google citizen scientist or just Google the issue?
Citizen scientist, and if maybe you're finding, again, bottle caps in a stream where it shouldn't be, maybe plastic debris in streams, and you can join that and start collecting data. Or you can just shop, just go through them. I do have some sources for kids, and actually everybody would be interested in doing this. It just wouldn't be for kids, but I found this through pbskids.com, and it's through SciGirls. If you type in PBS Kids citizen scientist, it'll give you the link, but they have a database, and you just, pop in what you have an interest in, and all these projects show up. So I typed in hiking and nature and outdoors, and more than 30 projects came up for kids and people of all ages. And one would be like Biodiversity Peak. Another project was Seeking All California Stink Bugs. And Drought Risk and You, South Texas Wintering Birds and Berries. Let's see, National Plant Monitoring Scheme.
So these are actually from people that are conducting studies that need volunteers to help input data, right? Or not input data, but provide data for them so they can do an analysis.
Right. And it's less. They can stretch their funding dollars. It's very helpful to join these sorts of things to help the studies, because it just helps the world. There's another one, Cetacean Sightings Network. Spot a Ladybug. That's a good one. I actually clicked on Big Seaweed Search. And the goal was to explore the distribution of the United Kingdom and invasive seaweeds. And
so you're trying to convince Ray that you need to go to Great Britain so that you can explore the United Kingdom seaweed, right?
Yes. Yeah. You're on to me.
Good luck, Suzette.
That's right. So that's an interesting study. Here's another one, NASA's SMAP satellite mission. So the goal is to help NASA monitor soil moisture and water availability. So collect, measure soil samples to compare with NASA's satellite data.
Oh, so just to verify the data that they're analyzing from the satellite to make sure that it's accurate, right? So if the satellite's looking into the environment of your area, and you send them samples of the soil or whatever's going on there, it verifies what they're trying to analyze from the satellite itself.
Right. And so what's interesting is you click to sign up and get trained, and then it has times and dates for training, and then you go on and you can get trained. So I'm not sure if it's live, group training on the internet, but it's all on the internet, of course. But isn't that a neat thing to do? And a lot of times you get name recognition. Your name goes on that study as a contributor.
Oh, and that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that is. I mean, could you imagine turning Joey, your grandson, onto that? That'd be a wonderful thing to involve kids in, or to do yourself. It's all very important. It's so important. So,
well, it's interesting that you would talk about this, because the truth is that most of us don't give much thought to what is actually going on around them, and all the studies and all the programs that are going on that you can actually get involved in. It would be pretty simple, I think, or pretty easy. I think that all of these studies, there's studies in a variety of different modalities that would interest someone, and if you just go online, you can get involved. You're not going to get paid, but you can get involved and actually get recognition for your involvement.
Right.
I think that's super.
Isn't it?
Yeah, I think that's super. My granddaughter, she's at NYU now. She's just entering into her second year at NYU, and she wants to be a journalist. But she has written. Gosh, I can't remember when she wasn't writing in a journal things, and submitted a lot of her own original articles to the Los Angeles Times and different papers, and they actually would publish those under her byline, and they would do it. You know, kids would do these things from schools. The school would get the credit, and the student would get the credit. It's another one of those ways to get involved. But I think this scientific study thing that you're talking about actually magnifies that tremendously.
Yeah, I agree with you, Robert. Yeah, it's a great idea, and makes you feel good about yourself, and so after our commercial break,
mm-hmm.
I have a very interesting organization to share with everybody. It's called Adventurers and Scientists for Conservation. And so ASC, Adventurers and Scientists for Conservation, manages scientific data collection that's difficult to obtain. So they pair scientists who need data from remote parts of the world with extreme adventurers, extreme hikers, extreme rock climbers. We're talking the Himalayas.
Oh my! So you're talking about thin air, lack of oxygen, and
exactly.
And so I mean,
taking water samples to see if there's plastic where it doesn't belong.
Yeah.
So interesting.
Yeah. Well, let's see. What is it now? It's 4:16, and at 4:19 we got to take a commercial break. If you want to, that'll give you an extra 3 minutes on the next segment, or we can talk for 3 minutes and then have a regular segment coming up.
Well, let's. I guess we could keep going with this. Yeah, let's do that.
All right.
So some of the projects, in these remote areas, so interesting. I would love to do something like this.
Well, when you say remote areas that you'd love, because obviously, or I shouldn't say obviously, everybody has different areas of interest, right? And when you say a remote area, are you talking about a remote part of the world, or a remote part of your immediate environment, or what do you say?
All of it.
Oh.
Remote parts of the world, again, the Himalayas, or anywhere in South America, the most remote areas, the highest peaks.
So if you were volunteering, just as an example, if you, Suzette Mailer, were willing to donate your time to go into a remote area and contribute to this scientific study, would they at least get you there, house you, and feed you?
No. No, I don't think so. Not in all cases. Possibly. Actually, with this group, there could be some funding to do that, because I'm sure many of the scientists would not be in physical shape to handle thin air, and they wouldn't have the expertise for mountaineering. So possibly there could be some funding. But I do have some specific projects to share that are very interesting, like the Landmark Project. It's a multi-year project to collect wildlife data and record the human experience of living on the northern Great Plains in Montana.
Wow. Well, it is beautiful up there.
It is so beautiful. So the crews will live on the reserve and collect data year-round, exploring the grasslands from the sub-zero weather of January to the heat of July and August. And then the data, Landmark will use the data to manage and protect this wild landscape. So if you're interested, Robert, openings are available March, April, May 2016, and or June, July, August 2016.
Wow. Well, you know what? Let's talk more about that when we come back from this commercial break. We're going to go on a commercial break. We'll be right back with our own Suzette Mailer, talking about tremendous opportunities if you want to just do a little payback and gather some data that not only would be interesting to you, but would be helpful to the scientists that are doing these studies. We'll be right back after these brief messages with our own Suzette Mailer. Don't go away.
Isn't it time to shine the spotlight on your expertise? The Interview, starring you. Here's your chance to capture 5 minutes of fame with The Interview. This isn't just any interview. This is your opportunity to showcase your expertise and position yourself as a trusted expert in a one-on-one video interview hosted by Robert Cardoza, host of the nationally syndicated show Robert Cardoza Live and powered by AHA Studios. What is it? a professionally recorded video for your use. Robert Cardoza interviews you on the set where he records his show. Professional interview showcases your expertise and value, shot in a state-of-the-art studio. And what's in it for you? Gain credibility as an expert, earn the trust of your target market, educate in a way that intrigues your audience, gain a powerful marketing tool that offers dozens of uses, website, video sharing sites, social media, email, DVDs, direct mail, lobby video, resumes, profile building, all that kind of stuff. Association with the nationally syndicated celebrity. That's right. And let's talk about AHA Studios. AHA is a strategic marketing firm that leverages the powerful and visual persuasion to help your business create powerful messages that connect with your target market. AHA ventures way beyond strategy, delivering the marketing collateral you need to start driving a new business through your doors. AHA has a full-service, in-house, state-of-the-art production studio to bring your messages to life using video. Discover how to make the interview work for you. Call 949-831-2222. That's 949-831-2222. AHA Image Studios Incorporated. Dr. Stephen Tidwell, Gentle Family Dentistry in a caring, personalized environment. Here at Dr. Tidwell's office, we are dedicated to helping you keep your teeth healthy. We are a state-of-the-art dental practice that still believes in traditional values, such as excellent customer service and individual attention. We have a special welcoming offer for you for just $39, a complete exam, personal consultation, professional cleaning, and all necessary x-rays. That's a $266 value for $39. Dr. Tidwell has 2 convenient locations and experienced staff to provide you with professional care and personal attention that you deserve. Call today. Don't delay. A great smile another day. Call 909-944-7308. That's 909-944-7308 for Rancho Cucamonga or San Bernardino. Joel Saltzman is Dr. Wireless. He has turned his considerable expertise into consumer credit risk and wireless security into a highly specialized independent web-based consulting enterprise targeting consumer credit risk analysis and wireless transactional security and monitoring. He works as a wireless analyst, veteran independent agent, and consumer liaison for most wireless telecom carriers and equipment manufacturers. For more than 20 years, corporate and private clients and media audiences have counted on his unvarnished advice while weighing the technology, performance, and cost differences between Sprint, Nextel, AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile. Joel specializes in setting up mobile wireless hotspots to be used for disaster preparedness, business continuity, and mobile wireless merchant processing solutions. Call Dr. Wireless at 310-400-4900 or go to his webpage at drwireless.com. Again, call 310-400-4900 or his webpage at drwireless.com. You'll be glad you did. And now, back to our show.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. We're talking to our own roving reporter, Suzette Mailer, and she's talking about an opportunity for you to get involved in things that you have interest in that could actually help science by becoming a citizen of science. Hey, Suzette, you got the microphone.
Okay, so yes, we're talking about being a citizen scientist and how easy it is to join a project. It's just a matter of doing some, internet research and maybe, it depends on your locale, or maybe you're going on vacation in a remote area. Maybe you're an extreme adventurer. You do extreme kayaking or mountaineering, or you plan to a trip to the Himalayas or the Andes, definitely check out this organization called Adventures and Scientists for Conservation, ASC. We were just talking about some of their projects. Another project is called Roadkill Observations. And
did you say roadkill observations?
I did. That's the name of it. That roads are a common cause of death for wild species. So the ASC Roadkill Survey recruits cyclists and runners to record roadkill observations in an effort to research and reduce animal vehicle collisions. So this data helps their partner scientists at the University of California, Davis Road Ecology Center study. They study which species are affected and when, wildlife travel patterns, whether roadkill hotspots exist, and if so, where, how to reduce vehicle-caused animal deaths. So ultimately, this project aims to bring together ecology researchers and transportation policymakers. And so that, you put those two together, it has to improve things. So, I lost a lot of family members in a terrible car accident. My grandparents, an aunt, and a niece, because a horse ran in front of somebody else's car, and it just caused a mess. So, this is important stuff, not only for the protection of animals, but for humans.
Well, I was gonna, when you were actually describing that, and my mind was actually going there because I'm fully aware of the fact that, whether it be a deer or a bear or any kind of wild animal that is crossing the road, if you hit it with a car, not only is it going to be difficult for the animal if it survives, but the truth is you might not survive that collision yourself. These animals, and that can be quite an impact.
Oh, yeah. Actually, in the case of my family, it was somebody else that hit it and then killed him instantly. And then my grandparents, hours later, they were on a lonely desert road, and they just didn't see the car. It was nighttime. And so, it can happen. Have to be very careful driving in the mountains. We were up in Mammoth, and a family of deer just jumped out in front of me. There's signage all over Mammoth to slow down because of the animals, and they really do jump out. So anyway, that is the roadkill observations. And sounds funny but important.
Well, you know what? It does sound funny, but it's actually quite serious.
It is. Here's another one, snow and ice collection. So mountains store fresh water that feeds many of the world's major rivers, but mountain glaciers are rapidly melting worldwide, with the highest elevation thinning documented around 20,000 feet or 6,000 meters. So samples collected by adventurers and scientists for conservation, not conversation. They need volunteers to partner with the scientists and go to the extent of high altitude glaciers to collect samples.
So, are they when they're doing that with glaciers? Are they just trying to figure out the rate at which it's melting and not replenishing itself? Obviously, glaciers don't replenish themselves; they just melt, right? So I'm guessing it gives the scientist an idea of how to calculate what the actual total expiration of that glacier would be.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I think that sounds really good. Here's another one. Gallatin, I think I'm saying that right, Gallatin. I actually called the Gallatin School to see how they pronounce that. So it is Gallatin Microplastics Initiative. So the Gallatin watershed is north of Yellowstone. Yosemite in California. And so the Gallatin River carries their fresh water to the sea. And let's see what else. It also carries our garbage. And so the ASC pilot survey of 5 sites along the Gallatin River found microplastic particles, and they said some in very high numbers. And with this knowledge, ASC launched the Gallatin Microplastic Initiative to study the abundance and types of microplastics in the Gallatin watershed.
Now, when you say it's carrying our garbage, you mean because people are discarding it improperly?
Yes, absolutely. Again, I was up in Yosemite, and we were, No, we were up in, there were so many places, but the sequoias, and, there are rivers up there, little streams rather, and I saw plastic. Wherever there were people, there was plastic just falling off their bodies, lids from their water bottles or wrappers from their candy and nuts. And what happens is you get snow, and then the snow melts and picks that up and carries it to to the streams, and then animals feed off it, and it's a serious problem. It's a very serious problem. If you were to read about this, you can see. But so each year, this initiative pulls together 60 volunteers that return 4 times to their assigned sites on the main Gallatin and its tributaries, gathering an in-depth picture of plastic pollution from 70 sites on the watershed.
Well, it's interesting that you actually talk about this. Not that you talk about it, but we've talked about plastic pollution in the oceans and the garbage that's in the oceans a number of times. But I don't know why we've neglected to talk about this pollution that goes on in our mountain streams and rivers and pollutes the lakes and things, because it's just as serious, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. It is just as serious. I read a little bit. I cannot articulate the importance of why we need to stop littering. We have to pick it up, even up in the mountains. Terrible. So,
well, you know what? It makes you wonder a little bit. We have all of these people that are, they're sentenced to what's the word I want to to public service because maybe they had a DUI or they broke some kind of law and they're serving their sentence over the weekends. And it makes you wonder why, if we've got these guys picking up paper on the sides of the freeways, why we don't have them cleaning up these streams and rivers also.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Or maybe they do, and I just don't know it.
You have, because they'll trample the biodiversity. It's a problem. It really needs to be stopped at the
source.
The visitor centers.
Yeah.
That's where it needs to be caught. And so if you want to put them to work there, that's a great idea. Hopefully no one will be robbed. But, these people are white. These are white people, white collar people. And, it's not like they're not murderers and robbers and stuff like that. Too many tickets.
Yeah.
It's a great idea. And a great place to have them contemplate their sins.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, absolutely. If they're not doing it, that's certainly something that would be worthwhile. If judges sentence people to community service all the time, why not that?
Yeah, it's a great idea. And also have them just pick up trash in our gutters in our cities. That would help a lot too.
Yeah.
That's a great idea. Maybe I'll mention that to my councilwoman. Everybody, mention that to your council people.
Yeah.
That's a great use of humanity. So
yeah, absolutely.
But listen to this training weekend if you wanted to get involved in this Gallatin Microplastics Initiative. So 56 local hikers, climbers, and boaters trained with ASC staff and guides for the launch of their Gallatin Microplastics Initiative. So hiking and paddling hundreds of miles over 2 days. The volunteers gathered 130 samples from 69 sites in the Gallatin River in its tributaries. So,
Suzette, hundreds of miles over 2 days?
Hundreds of miles. See, this is for extreme people. This is for hard to reach areas.
Yeah, 70-year-old, 70-year plus old men like me are not going to be doing that.
No, better not.
That is really extreme. So in a case like that, are they testing the endurance of the individual, or are they really looking at the environment?
They're looking at the environment. If again, these people are probably doing these projects anyway, or they're on other scientific ventures, and so it's not that hard to just take a bottle and collect some water to ship in.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they're finding microplastics in German beer, in honeycomb, different food products, and again from fleece. Finding a lot from fleece. Here's another organization, the Coastal Observation and Seabird Survey, called COAST with 2 S's. And it's a 17-year-old rigorous citizen science project housed at the University of Washington. So COAST, COASST, could be, if you live along the coast, could be a very good project to join. the three basic types of data they are collecting are beach cast birds, marine debris, and evidence of human use of the beach environment. I wonder what that means. So, again, I have this great idea. I'm a business person. I do product development. I've done offshore manufacturing and importing, and I can talk the talk, and I know how it works. And I thought of a product, and it's citizen science kits, and the idea is to get those on the shelves at toy stores. And the whole thing, if you buried it in the soil in your yard, it would biodegrade, it would compost. And the idea is that kids, they're not going to look this up on the internet. Maybe their teacher will give them an assignment. But if it were on store shelves at Toys R Us or National Geographic magazine, something built for kids, these kids can become citizen scientists and get their names recognized in the project. And maybe a grandparent will buy this off the shelf because they, for maybe $19.99 or $19.95, and they're giving the kid a gift of philanthropy and to think outside themselves, which is a much healthier way to view the world than mine, and give me. Would you agree? Does that sound like a really good idea?
Yeah, it does.
Just a brown cardboard box that's kind of thin and black.
Something that's biodegradable, but there has to be something that the kid learns that he can through observation, right? It's a real citizen scientific project that the kid can join and go out and do wherever they're located. Yeah, see, I think that's a great idea. Yeah, I think that's a great idea.
Isn't that a fabulous idea?
Yeah, I think so. So we got 1 minute for you to do a wrap here.
Let me just say, how much money can I get out of you to invest in it?
Me? None.
None?
No.
Put your money where your mouth is.
I did, and I'm retired, and I put my money where my mouth is 3 times a day.
3 times?
Yeah.
So that's the story, citizen scientist, and I'm sticking to it.
Well, this was actually really interesting because, normally we talk about the environment, and we've talked about the environment with regard to oceans a number of times, but you really dug in this time, and this was really interesting in how people can actually get involved and make a difference, and I think that that's invaluable. So, I want to thank you. This has been an enlightening day for us.
It's been good. I've been very excited to cover citizen scientists. I think it's a very interesting subject and so many possibilities. It can make your vacation much more fun and meaningful.
Well, it's been terrific. Listen, you have a wonderful evening. Stay safe, stay happy, make everybody's life better because you're in it. And we'll talk to you next week.
Okay, take care.
All right. Now, bye-bye. Now, don't go away. When we come back, we're going to deal with the birthdays for the day, the secret daily teachings for your life, the Harvard business tip of the day, and interesting but useless facts. We'll be right back after these brief messages.
If you want to increase your client base and sales, then consider this, the Relationship Building Network at RBN. Given the current economic conditions and challenges, we all need to work smarter, make smarter decisions, invest our hard-earned dollars where it'll yield the best return for our investment. Many business professionals claim that the most effective networking group in Orange County is RBN. No other networking group or organization can offer what RBN offers. Make every year your best year. Join RBN and start reaping the benefits today. Nearly 3,000 businesses have joined RBN and experienced those benefits. Why join RBN? It's one group. It's one membership. It's no renewals. It's all through Orange County. RBN is a freestyle networking group. No mandatory attendance, no restrictions, no rules, and no penalties. Call them at 949-830-5776 or go to their website at rbninfo.com. That's 949-830-5776. If you've ever dreamed of having your own business to make your life secure, Water's Edge Wineries might be just the ticket. In 2004, their founder, Ken Lineberger, created the first winery franchise in California. It was a new concept with all of the functionality of a traditional winery, but without the vineyards. They purchase high-quality grape must from one of the largest winemaking companies in the world. Then they craft each wine carefully and bottle it right at their location. The winery was built to satisfy consumer demand for wine by the bottle and by the glass, but still kept the element of allowing customers to bottle their own custom vintage. Now, they're opening urban wineries across the United States under the brand Water's Edge Wineries. If you've ever dreamed of owning your own winery, it may be in reach right now through Water's Edge Wineries. Just give them a call at 909-468-9463, extension 700. That's Water's Edge Wineries, 909-468-9463. Have you ever found yourself caught between a rock and a hard place? The law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett might be just the answer for you. The attorneys of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett have been serving the Inland Empire since 1989. They're dedicated to the aggressive litigation of civil, criminal, and real estate matters. Over the years, they have recovered tens of millions of dollars for their clients. The firm's practice specializes in litigation of personal injury, accident, slip and fall, real estate, and criminal law cases. The firm provides clients with the care, accuracy, and dedication of experienced attorneys. Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett is located at 10300 4th Street, Suite 150 in Rancho Cucamonga, California. They've been providing the Inland Empire residents with outstanding legal services for over 25 years. They look forward to providing you with aggressive legal representation. Call them at 909-945-5000, where you can talk to a person, not a machine. That's 909-945-5000, the law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett. And now let's get back to our show where we talk about politics, money, and you.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza Live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. We're at 4:40 p.m. Pacific time. It's currently 79 degrees, so it's cooled down about 3 degrees. It's on its way down to 56 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny Southern California. Well, you know what? It's time for that Harvard business tip of the day. And the management tip today is stop good ideas from going nowhere. Yeah, you know, anyone who's worked inside a large company can name a few reasons why good ideas die. Conflict with existing businesses, naysayers, insufficient resources, and so on. Yet, when companies decide to get more innovative, they typically forget to address the things that kill promising ideas. Here's how to change that. First of all, start with a survey. Ask your innovation MVPs about the company dynamics that strangle new ideas. Then take action on their answers and get external validation. Selling an idea is easier when customers know about it and can express their desire for it. Then invest real money. Ideas can't succeed unless companies allocate sufficient resources for them to do that. And reward decision makers who back winning ideas, but make sure that backing losing ones isn't a career-ending move. And then finally, think weekly, not quarterly. Moving slowly kills ideas and demoralizes investors. Look for ways to speed up the building process. That's what you want to do. That is the management tip for today. Well, let's you know what today is, right? Sure you do. Today is Tuesday, December the 8th, and it's somebody's birthday. Okay, here we go. It's somebody's birthday. You know, Diego Rivera was born in 1886, died in 1957, a world-famous Mexican painter, an active communist, and husband of Frida Kahlo. And here's a guy that most all of us knew. He was born in 1943, died in 1971. The lead singer and lyricist of The Doors, and is widely considered to be one of the most charismatic frontmen in rock music history. Happy birthday to Jim Morrison. And finally, born in 1966, an Irish singer-songwriter. Happy birthday to Sinead O'Connor. Well, what happened today in history? Well, I can tell you on December the 8th, 1953, Dwight D. Eisenhower gives Atoms for Peace speech. And in 1980, John Lennon is shot and killed by Mark David Chapman in front of the Dakota apartment building in New York City. And finally, in 2008, Christy Williams elected as leader of the Welsh Liberal Democrats, the first female leader of a political party in Wales. Well, our quote for today comes from Joseph Campbell. Joseph says, "Your sacred space is where you can find yourself again and again." Well, that's a fact, I would say, if you think about it. Well, let's talk about the secret daily teachings for your life. And the secret daily teaching in your life, I say it every day, that's all about a positive mental attitude. And you know what? You control your life. You control how you feel. You control what you accomplish. You control your success and your failures. It's all about a positive mental attitude. So the secret today is that every single person deserves to live a wonderful life, and they have the power to do that through the law of attraction. Now, when you tend to your happiness and joy, something wonderful happens. You begin to overflow with joy, and every single person that you come into contact with is touched by your joy. One person in joy brings so much joy to the world through the magnificent matrix of our universe. The power within each of us is unfathomable when focused in the direction of all good for all. Yeah, absolutely. This stuff works, guys. I'm telling you. Well, it's time for our interesting but useless facts. Let's start off with this. Did you know that horses have bigger eyes than any other mammal that lives on land? There's an interesting thing for you. Some of these facts are just, well, you gotta wonder about the guys that are digging these things up. But some of them are kind of interesting. Did you know that an owl has 3 eyelids? That's kind of interesting if you think about it. And by weight, bone is 5 times stronger than steel. Give that some thought. Of course, you don't see a lot of broken steel. You do see a lot of broken bones. Did you know that a Rubik's Cube, you know what, I'm not even going to try this. It's got, let's see if I can figure this out. Million, billion, trillion, quadrillion, quintillion. It's got 43 quintillion, 252 quadrillion, 3 trillion, 274 million, 489,856,000 possible configurations. Now, I want you to know that was difficult to come up with that. You got to figure that out. You can't just come out with it. Here's one though. Did you know that a cow gives nearly 200,000 glasses of milk in her lifetime? Now, that doesn't say if it's a 4-ounce glass or an 8-ounce glass, but there you go, 200,000 glasses. Here's an interesting fact for you. The fingernails grow faster on the hand you favor. That's if you're right-handed or left-handed, right? If you are right-handed, your right fingernails will grow faster and vice versa. The middle fingernail grows faster than any other nail. So give that some thought the next time you want to give somebody the high sign, right? Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. Well, did you know the average speed of a skydiver is 124 miles per hour? Somewhere, give or take a few. That's interesting. Falling at that speed. You think you'd almost have to have a mask on, right? Because at that speed, how do you breathe? My goodness, open your mouth and you blow your head off. Did you know that those San Francisco cable cars are the only mobile national monuments? There's something for you. I bet you didn't know that, right? Well, the first dinosaur to be discovered was Megalosaurus by William Buckland in 1824. That's the first time I've even heard of that one. Who knows? Did you know that Ian McKellen and Patrick Stewart had no idea how to play chess when they appeared in X-Men 2? There's one for you. You got to learn. These guys learn a lot of stuff. Did you know that Venus is the only planet that rotates clockwise? There's one for you. I didn't know that. Interesting. The official name of India is not India. It is Bharat. Yeah, Bharat. There's interesting things, right? How about this? It is forbidden for aircraft to fly over the Taj Mahal. And let me leave you with this. Coca-Cola would be green if coloring weren't added to it. Now, give that some serious thought, would you? Now, don't go away. When we come back, I'm going to answer your emails. First one comes from Tyler Din from Warwick, Rhode Island, asking about being a head of household. I'll tell you all about that right after these brief messages. Don't go away. We've got some interesting emails for you today.
Isn't it time to shine the spotlight on your expertise? The Interview, starring you. Here's your chance to capture 5 minutes of fame with The Interview. This isn't just any interview. This is your opportunity to showcase your expertise and position yourself as a trusted expert in a one-on-one video interview hosted by Robert Cardoza, host of the nationally syndicated show Robert Cardoza Live and powered by AHA Studios. What is it? A professionally recorded video for your use. Robert Cardoza interviews you on the set where he records his show. Professional interview showcases your expertise and value, shot in a state-of-the-art studio. And what's in it for you? Gain credibility as an expert, earn the trust of your target market, educate in a way that intrigues your audience, gain a powerful marketing tool that offers dozens of uses, website, video sharing sites, social media, email, DVDs, direct mail, lobby video, resumes, profile building, all that kind of stuff. Association with the nationally syndicated celebrity. That's right. And let's talk about AHA Studios. AHA is a strategic marketing firm that leverages the powerful and visual persuasion to help your business create powerful messages that connect with your target market. AHA ventures way beyond strategy, delivering the marketing collateral you need to start driving a new business through your doors. AHA has a full-service, in-house, state-of-the-art production studio to bring your messages to life using video. Discover how to make The Interview work for you. Call 949-831-2222. That's 949-831-2222. AHA Image Studios Incorporated. Dr. Stephen Tidwell, Gentle Family Dentistry in a caring, personalized environment. Here at Dr. Tidwell's office, we are dedicated to helping you keep your teeth healthy. We are a state-of-the-art dental practice that still believes in traditional values, such as excellent customer service and individual attention. We have a special welcoming offer for you for just $39, a complete exam, personal consultation, professional cleaning, and all necessary x-rays. That's a $266 value for $39. Dr. Tidwell has 2 convenient locations and experienced staff to provide you with professional care and personal attention that you deserve. Call today. Don't delay. A great smile another day. Call 909-944-7308. That's 909-944-7308 for Rancho Cucamonga or San Bernardino. Joel Saltzman is Dr. Wireless. He has turned his considerable expertise into consumer credit risk and wireless security into a highly specialized independent web-based consulting enterprise targeting consumer credit risk analysis and wireless transactional security and monitoring. He works as a wireless analyst, veteran independent agent, and consumer liaison for most wireless telecom carriers and equipment manufacturers. For more than 20 years, corporate and private clients and media audiences have counted on his unvarnished advice while weighing the technology, performance, and cost differences between Sprint, Nextel, AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile. Joel specializes in setting up mobile wireless hotspots to be used for disaster preparedness, business continuity, and mobile wireless merchant processing solutions. Call Dr. Wireless at 310-400-4900 or go to his webpage at drwireless.com. Again, call 310-400-4900 or his webpage at drwireless.com. You'll be glad you did. And now, back to our show.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza Live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. We're at 4:53 p.m. Pacific time. Currently 79 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny Southern California. That's down from 82 on his way to 56. It's going to be cool tonight. So listen, we're at the section of the show. We're coming down to the wire. We're going to answer your emails. I want to just remind you that we do this as an entertainment section of the show. We try our best to give you a good comprehensive comprehensive answer to your emails, but sometimes the information you give us is just a little sketchy. So we always encourage you to contact a licensed professional. They're always going to save you more money than they're going to cost you. They're going to give you peace of mind and allow you to sleep at night. One of the reasons is part of the requirements of their licensing is that they maintain errors and omissions insurance. That's the same thing as malpractice insurance. But it does mean that if they make a mistake, they pay the piper, not you. And that's why you can sleep at night, not worry about those registered letters or phone calls or somebody knocking on your door. Well, first email today comes from Tyler Din from Warwick, Rhode Island, asking about being a head of household, and says, my wife moved out last year, leaving me with the children, but we haven't divorced. She refuses to file a joint return with me. Since I provided a home to our children, can I file my return as head of household to get lower tax rates than I would by filing as married, filing separately? Well, here's the deal, Tyler. If your wife left your home during the first half of the year, then the answer to your question is yes. Now, according to the IRS, you also qualify for head of household status if you, though married, file a separate return. Your spouse was not a member of your household during the last 6 months of the year, or the tax year anyway, and you provided for a qualifying child more than half the cost of maintaining as your home a household that was the main home for more than one half of your tax year. Now, more information on this, go to IRS Publication 501, that's exemptions, standard deduction, and filing information for more details here. Well, next email comes from Daryl Fleming from Cary, North Carolina, asking about Roth IRA pros and cons, and writes, our mother lives on Social Security and money from an IRA and is in a low tax bracket. Now, we children disagree about whether she should convert her IRA to a Roth IRA. What do you think? Well, Daryl, I have a few facts about your family situation to know for sure, but in general, if your mother expects to consume her IRA, she may be best leaving it as is since she pays little tax on it anyhow. Now, on a conversion to a Roth IRA, her current IRA balance will be taxable and may pile up into a higher tax bracket than she would otherwise ever pay. But if her intent is to leave her IRA funds to her heirs, a conversion might make sense. She would pay a modest tax because she is in the lower tax bracket. And on the conversion, both make the Roth IRA funds tax-free to her heirs who may be in much higher tax brackets. Now, a Roth IRA's lack of minimum annual distributions during her lifetime might also allow her to leave more IRA funds to the heirs. So consult an expert about the details of your situation. Like I said, that's always going to save you more money than it costs you. Well, my final email today comes from Isha French from Spartanburg, South Carolina, asking about Social Security benefits, and says, is it true that Social Security benefits are taxed only when you take them before age 65? Well, Lisa, the answer to your question is no, but Social Security benefits may be reduced when you take them before your normal retirement age if you have earned income. Now, this may seem like a tax, but it isn't. It's just part of the benefit formula. When you reach normal retirement age, this earned income reduction actually stops. Let me give you an example of that. If you're receiving Social Security benefits and will not reach your normal retirement age this year, Social Security will withhold $1 of benefits for every $2 that you earn over $13,560. Now, regardless of your age, part of your Social Security benefits may be subject to income tax. Up to 50% of benefits are taxable when adjusted gross income, or AGI, plus 1/2 of Social Security benefits, plus all of tax-free interest exceeds $25,000 on a single return or $32,000 on a joint return. And up to 85% may be taxed when your adjusted gross income exceeds $34,000 if you're single, or $44,000 if you're joint. Now, take note, normal retirement age varies with the year of birth. Now, for details on this, visit the Social Security Administration's Social Security Online website at www.ssa.gov. Well, I want to thank you for listening to Robert Cardoza Live at the intersection of business and politics. Robert Cardoza Live broadcasts on Spreaker Radio, Roar, 1776 Radio, MyCast Live Radio, and countless terrestrial stations worldwide every Monday through Friday from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. Pacific Time. We're also on 405 Media Radio Monday through Friday from 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. Pacific Time. And we're on the Pundit Press, PNN Talk Radio, and SHR Media Radio with John Matthews and the Conservative Syndicate Mondays and Fridays from 3:30 p.m. to 4 p.m. Pacific Time. Please follow me on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Google+, Podomatic, and YouTube, where you can listen to all of my shows 24/7. Go to my website at www.robertcardozalive.com and email me at robertcardozalive@gmail.com, where I get all the emails that I answer your questions on here on the air. On my next show, Joel Saltzman, Dr. Wireless, is going to be talking new wireless technology, and he's got a special guest that he's going to bring on with him. And our own Ray Mailer reports on his American Grid. I encourage you to tell all of your friends about my show here on the RLC Broadcasting Network.
That's our show for today. Beginning today, treat everyone you meet as if they were going to be dead by midnight. Extend them all the care, kindness, and understanding that you can muster. Your life will never be the same again. So many of our dreams at first seem impossible, then they seem improbable, and then when we summon the will, they soon become inevitable. You know, the real secret of happiness is to make others believe that they're the cause of it. Robert Cardoza Live is brought to you by blogtalkradio.com every Monday through Friday from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Pacific Time. Now, go out and make it a great day. Your host has been Robert Cardoza, the technical advisor, Matchstick Digital, and your executive producer, also Robert Cardoza.
Okay, everybody, that's a wrap. I hope you enjoyed today's show as much as I enjoyed producing it for you. Don't forget to join me again tomorrow at 3 p.m. Pacific Time for another installment of Robert Cardoza Live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. In the meantime, I want you to stay safe. I want you to stay happy. I want you to make everybody's life better because you're in it. Good night, everybody.